Okay, I'm going to try this again. I am well aware that my sound is a huge issue right now. The soundboard that I am using belongs to somebody else, and they're using it for their own purposes right now. So I know that the video I put up earlier did not have the sound from the recorded part. So I'm going to try it this way. I think it's going to work. I think you're going to be able to hear it. I don't think it's going to be fabulous, so I'm going to try to make these short and quick until I get that soundboard back and figure out what I'm doing, or at least get back to the unfigured out part that I had before. So again, if you want to like, subscribe, and comment, if you want to donate to the Memorial Fund, that is in the description. You can copy and paste that, and I fully support and hope that you do consider doing that, especially this holiday season. And let's get going and see what Darrell has to say now. He just had that one video from the one officer stricken from the record, and now we're going to go on to another piece of Darrell being a big baby.com.
Courtroom. I've been advised it's been dictated and I believe written. I haven't seen it yet, but I did follow up on that this morning. I believe I'll have it at some point today, and we'll turn that over to the parties.
Okay, so this is about an incident report for one of the times that he was resisting doing something, and the deputies had to use some level of force, and then he claimed he had little bruises or whatever, which, you know, in the scope of what he is here for, I find absolutely disgusting. But Darrell is a humongous baby who thinks he's the center of the universe. So moving on, he makes a big deal out of it so he can draw even more attention to himself.
Thursday, October 6th.
Is it the meeting?
That was in reference to
when you were uncooperative. How can I say this?
Where, if my memory is correct, where there was not about the COVID test, but about the.
See, there's so many times she can't even narrow it.
I don't remember if you were over there, or here, or what, but they needed to get those restraints either on or off so that you could be situated, and that's where you had indicated you had been hurt. So that's what I'm talking about. I wanted to have a record of that here.
I think that was the 6th. I also want to state for the record that I was given paperwork to fill out a report of my own, and I stressed that because
I'm not the center of attention.
Detectives came and took the pictures of my bruises and injuries. I was told that they didn't know when I would actually get the actual filing of the report that they were going to report. So I just went ahead and asked for my own. I filled that out. I don't know if it's been given to the right parties yet.
You're talking about the inmate complaint form to have the either the jail or the sheriff's department. Would be that related to the use of force?
Yeah, it was the top paper was from the sheriff.
All right, you know that that's not my responsibility to address what happened, other than how it impacts this trial, which is why I wanted to have a record. If there's anything you believe should be in the record from you regarding that, then you should turn that in.
He thinks the whole thing should be him being the center of attention, is what he thinks.
I didn't have anything else.
This is not hooked up to anything, but I think it makes me louder anyway.
Or Mr. Brooks, so I will ask the state first if there's anything you believe I should address prior to the jury. Things. I don't know if the state does or Mr. Brooks, so I will ask the state first. Things. I don't know if the state does.
Those are skips in this thing. I don't know why it does that. I think it's just the way that was uploaded.
Jury coming back out.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask that some of the witnesses that testified last week be released from their subpoenas, especially now that we have Mr. Brooks' witness list. Specifically, I'd be referring to Corey Runkle, Officer Phillips, Kyle Edwards, Holly Berg. I know on his list today, he does still have Erica Patterson and Detective Guth. At some point, we'd like to be heard about that, but we don't need to delay the jury at this point.
All right, any position on their request, Mr. Brooks?
I guess my objection to that would be Officer Phillips.
But
That
you
would
already
be
had
one
his.
that I would
What are you gonna ask
feel
him?
like
You
would
already.
be under subpoena. Everybody else is I'm fine with.
That's the officer whose squad video I just struck. So you didn't have him in your subpoenas. So you'll need to, for now, I'll tell the state they can't release him. You'll need to fill out a subpoena, and I need to have that by the lunch hour today in order for him not to be released from the state subpoena.
And I definitely
Definitely.
don't
Here we
want
go.
Erica Patterson released from.
But
Yes.
you have her on your
Yes.
subpoena, so
You want to make sure she's still there so that you can continue to torture and abuse her, because that is what this whole thing is about. It is all about her. It's all about you feeling some kind of narcissistic center of attention way. Ugh. Did I mess it up? I messed it up. Let's go back. Let's see if that's even close.
Actual filing of the report.
No, that's too far back.
Said earlier, and I just want to make a record of this because it's really important that I do this, sir. You've mentioned repeatedly about your hearing. I know you don't have the headphones on now. We'll give them to you.
She basically says Erica's on his subpoena list, so she's on there.
And how you've responded to things that have been said. I think you're hearing us. But look, if we haven't made the headphones available, we got to make sure we do that every single day so that if you need them. I do appreciate everything that you've said. And I know we have Detective Casey, who will bring up momentarily for your
we missed the whole
cross-examination,
fake thing. Let's see.
That was the 6th. I also want to state for the record that
That's too much.
Officer Phillips.
Yes, you
That
can.
would be one that I would still like to be under subpoena. Everybody else is I'm fine with.
That's the officer whose squad video I just struck. So you didn't have him in your subpoenas. So you'll need to, for now, I'll tell the state they can't release him. You'll need to fill out a subpoena, and I need to have that by the lunch hour today in order for him not to be released from the state subpoena.
And I definitely don't want Erica Patterson released from.
But you have her on your subpoena, so I understand
I
that.
just wanted that.
On the record. If we had a drinking game of on the record.
From the state as to Corey Runkle, Kyle Edwards, and Holly Berg.
Dumb.
For now, Officer Phillips will remain under the state subpoena along with Erica Patterson and Detective Guth. We can take issues up with that either, maybe closer to the lunch hour or when we come back, or even at the end of the day. But I would like to bring the jury out. But of course, Mr. Brooks, I need to turn to you first and see if there's any issues you believe the court should address.
And here we
Very
go.
briefly. I just want to state this for the record that I would like to issue the court an apology from me.
Liar lines.
In regards to my actions last week during the trial. I just want the court to understand it's very emotional right now. Not only for just the whole situation of the trial. The families here that have to go through, everything that's going to be involved with the trial. But
So
also
admit
my
your
family as
guilt.
well, and myself is very, very emotional. But not to excuse my actions, I should carry myself with better respect than that. I wasn't raised that way.
Okay, that's a lie.
And,
That is a
I'll
total
leave it
lie.
around.
Now, this I said when you got... Oh, look, he is looking straight at the camera just to make sure. Are they looking at me? Are you all looking at me? Oh, my gosh. Look, I said this when I was trying to do it on the first take. I had a kid who went buck wild. I'm sure we all, as parents, have dealt with that to some extent. My parents used to criticize how I was parenting, and I used to remind them that if that was their child, they would be, I don't know how to put it. How did I put it? In the corner quivering. They wouldn't be able to do it because we did not pull half the stuff that this kid did. So I totally understand parenting and codependence is a very fine line, and it's so hard to let go of that. And there were so many times as a paramedic that the parents of somebody on drugs or having some sort of other issue, life issue, and I said, as hard as it is, there are apartments where they can make these decisions. They don't have to do it under your roof. You don't have to take that. But I think that his mother went well beyond that. She is just as much of a narcissist as he is. She is just as awful as he is. She participates in all of these lies just as much as he does, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. And where the hell is his dad? Huh? Where did that guy go? Why wasn't he dragged through this whole thing too? Okay. Darrell, the center of attention, staring straight at the camera. God, I hope I have that long enough for that to be the new thumbnail.
An apology, and I want to stand up as a man and tell
stand
the
up
whole
as
court
man.
and you, Your Honor, that I apologize to the bailiffs, that I apologize for my actions. Like I said, that's not how I was raised. I come from a Christian background. My mother did not raise me that way. She did not raise me, to act out of frustration and irritation and anger. And I just wanted everybody to know that I apologize for my actions. And I'm going to try my best to, whatever happens, to me and everybody here. I just wanted y'all to know that.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. I do appreciate that. Understanding
so painful.
This is an emotional experience, I think, for everyone involved. And I appreciate that you, upon reflection, have realized that courtesy and decorum are an important part of a court proceeding. I know that despite you being emotional at times, and not being an attorney, you certainly, you're clearly paying attention. You've made some very salient points throughout the last few days. I think you're settling in quite well, and we're going to keep this trial going. And
whether you like it or not.
I know you said earlier, and I just want to make a record of this because it's really important that I do this, sir. You've mentioned repeatedly about your hearing. I know you don't have the headphones on now. We'll give them to you. Just based on what I've observed this morning and how you've responded to things that have been said, I think you're hearing us. But if we haven't made the headphones available, we got to make sure we do that every single day so that if you need them. But I do appreciate everything that you've said. And I know we have Detective Casey, who will bring up momentarily for your cross-examination, just so everyone is aware. It's my practice when there's a second day to also put the witness under oath again. So they'll at least be sitting up there when the jury comes in.
Okay, so I do believe this is a good place to break because I want to make sure that this is all still working. I am so sorry for the low quality. Thank you very much for sticking with me. Like, subscribe. We'll see if this take 2 works. Come here.